Hey guys, welcome back to Kicking It with Kids and welcome to our second season. I'm Ashna and today we are here with
Anika,
Simran.
And Shiv.
and our topic for today is current global news for teens.
Our first topic of the day is sports. Over to Shiv.
All right, so the baseball season is coming to an end. The final game is happening October 3rd. But as one thing ends, another begins with the NBA preseason coming up this October 4th. The first game is going to be the 76ers and the Raptors. Excited to see that. The Jags taking on the Tigers this Sunday, and the Jags are yet to win a game still. However, Brady takes on the Patriots. It's going to be interesting to see that game. It's going to be a good game, and obviously Gronk and Tom Brady were on that team just a few years ago, so it's going to be a great rivalry, a great game. Speaking of the Buccaneers, Antonio Brown is still out. He has COVID and he's been taken out for the next 2 weeks. All right, on to our next topic. We're going to be talking about the Climate Change Summit. Back to you, Simran.
This year's 2021 United Nations Climate Change Summit, also known as COP26, is being held the first 2 weeks of November in Scotland. It is a UK summit and the countries in attendance are scattered all across the globe.
This climate change summit is vital to humanity because around the world, storms, floods, and wildfires are intensifying. The air pollution around the world is increasing and it's affecting the respiratory health of millions of people. And climate change is also causing unpredictable weather changes, and this causes damage to homes and the livelihoods of people. But while the impacts of climate change are devastating, advances in tackling it are leading to cleaner air, they're creating better jobs, and we're restoring nature and unleashing economic growth around the world.
Thank you, Anika. One of the biggest things that the people are wanting to be addressed at the conference is the role of animal agriculture as one of the largest contributors of climate change. And a lot of celebrities, I think more than 18 actually, have come out with formal and publicly written reports for them to address it. And the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change has also formally and publicly recognized the role. Now on to COVID.
Thank you, Ashna. So the COVID booster shot was actually approved on Wednesday, September 22nd, and it's approved for people 65 and older and for high-risk patients, but you have to get the booster shot 6 months after your second dose. The FDA actually authorized this booster shot back in August, and because people above the age of 65 and immunocompromised people need a third shot of this mRNA vaccine to solidify their protection against COVID. For people over the age of 65, the CDC reported that protection against hospitalization has actually dropped from 85 to 70% for the Pfizer vaccine in the past 6 months and 90 to 85% for the Moderna vaccine. So it's really important for people over the age of 65 to get this booster shot to protect them from the virus. The CDC recommends that if you're between 50 and 64 and you have underlying conditions, it would be a good idea for you to get the booster shot. But for younger adults, you should first consult your doctor and see if it's something that is necessary for you. And if you have underlying conditions, then it can protect you against severe reactions to the virus. Scientists expect that the booster shot will be as safe as the current vaccines are for young people and teens, but there still needs to be some more data and research done on it. On to you, Shiv, about the Mu variant.
So the Mu variant was first detected in Colombia earlier this year in January. It is a topic of concern, even though the Delta variant is a bit deadlier. As past reports have shown. It is not an immediate threat, but scientists are still watching it because based on the structure of this new variant, it could mutate and potentially become very troublesome for the future. However, it is still being debated whether or not it will become more dominant. However, as it's still mutating, we don't know yet if it's going to become more dominant than the Delta variant. Now we're going to be talking about the conflicts happening in Afghanistan. Off to you, Simran.
So the war on terror and specifically the crisis in Afghanistan currently occurring has had a decade-long history. It started with the Taliban regime around the early 2000s. They had a very strict interpretation and still do of Islamic law. They didn't allow television nor religious music, even flying kites for children. They didn't even let girls go to school after the age of 8. and they couldn't even leave the house without a man. Specifically, the biggest event was September 11, 2001, and that is when the US officially entered the War on Terror. During the Bush presidency, US troops and allies invaded Afghanistan and ended the Taliban regime. The Taliban still continued and fought against the troops, but over the past decade, trillions of dollars have been spent fighting the Taliban and training the Afghan army, as well as trying to establish a democracy in Afghanistan. Girls could now go to school, and they had made amazing strides in civil rights in that area.
Talking about what happened this year, the US decided to leave Afghanistan, and President Biden has stood by his decision to do so. Once the US left, the Taliban has once again taken control of Afghanistan, and they have established a new government saying they will respect women's rights and work with the Afghani people. Many countries are skeptical about whether the Taliban will actually do this. A lot of countries have begun evacuating their citizens from Afghanistan because of this.
This is actually impacting a lot of children. Children are now living in communities without water because of a drought and are missing out on life-saving vaccines during this pandemic. Roughly 1 million children under the age of 5 are suffering from malnutrition and are being forced out of their homes. Now let's talk about a little bit of our charity run that we're having. As you can see, this is impacting a lot of kids and a lot of people, and we have decided to have a charity run so we can help out. Let's hand it over to Simran to talk more about our charity run.
So because of all these things that are happening in Afghanistan right now, we've decided to start a charity run to help support Afghani children and families relocating to Jacksonville. This event will take place on October 30th from 9 to 12 at Mickler Beach. For more information, we will be posting on our Instagram, kidshelpingkids.jax. So thank you for tuning into this podcast. Make sure to stay tuned for the next one next month. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.